and welcome to Game 2 of Ballarat Blitz between the Melbourne Vixens and West Coast Fever. On behalf of Netball Victoria and Melbourne Vixens, we'd like to acknowledge the Wadawurrung people as the traditional owners and custodians of the lands we're on today and pay our respects to elders past and present. We are at Ballarat Selkirk Stadium. We already saw a really tight end to the match before, Adelaide Thunderbirds v New South Wales Swifts. This game's going to be just as exciting, Matt. Grand final rematch. I know it's only pre-season, but still, grand final rematch carries some weight.
It does carry a little bit of weight. They like to make sure that they're still getting a win on the board and executing what they've been practicing. And no doubt, the Vixens being the hunted side now, they're going to want to be trying something a little bit different. They've got new coach this year. Di Honey steps up from that assistant role, and Kate Upton stepping into her assistant's role of sorts. And it's a pretty similar lineup overall for this side, except we welcome back Emily Mannix. Unfortunately not here today, but there's still so much excitement in this side. Yeah,
it's a tried and tested lineup, and I think, as you mentioned, exciting to see what Di Honey can produce. 13 years Simone McInnes was at the helm.
It's a fair stint in this day and age, especially in coaching.
It's an incredible effort. So this is Di's time to really cement her standings on the club and to kind of lead from her wave. So it's a really exciting opportunity for the club to see where it goes and what legacy Simone leaves and what legacy, I suppose, Di creates.
And that's the thing. While she's been the assistant for so long, she'll really want to stamp something that is her brand onto it. And will be interesting to see what that means for the Vixens and what changes or adjustments, maybe is the better term, given how successful they were last year, they make. But, of course, we've got a Fever side looking still pretty similar to what they've been, but without a major target, Janelle Fowler.
Yeah, it's a huge change, isn't it? We know how instrumental Janelle is. Just one of those players that you can carry on. She just carries the whole team on her shoulders when she needs to. An incredible athlete, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they change. I know that there is the likes of Romelda Aiken-George that's also now coming into the team, so another great athlete to have around. Just, what does it look like in that attacking end for them?
And they've had tastes of premierships before. Last year, obviously, not the success they wanted, but they know how to win, and this should be an exciting battle, and I imagine there's going to be a fair few Vixen supporters here in the crowd today.
There definitely will be, and it's filling up. Fair to say that I think it's a sellout. I'm going to say it's a sellout. We heard the energy when in the game earlier with Kate Heffernan taking that impressive intercept. So, buckle up because it's going to get loud and it's going to get rowdy. And this weekend is all made possible thanks to the support of the City of Ballarat and the Victorian government. So it's great to have them on board and great to get out into regional areas and kind of bring the community an atmosphere, and it is loud in here already.
It is so loud, and it's a great opportunity for access to some people who don't necessarily be able to get to Melbourne. We've spoke earlier about people coming from all over Western Victoria. We've even seen a few South Australian plates in the car park. But as we're seeing the players start to come out on the court, how about we go through the lineup?
Let's see if there's any surprises.
Exactly right. So Melbourne Vixens are already here in a massive roar. In goal shooter for them, Sophie Garbutt. Lily Graham's taking up the goal attack bib. Hannah Mundy in wing attacking. Kate Maloney and the captain in centre. Zara Walters has a crack at wing defence. And a tried and trusted combination of Joe Weston in goal defence, Rudy Ellis in goalkeeper. And we've still got the Fever to get through.
We've got the Fever. Looking at the Fever in goal shooter, it is Olivia Wilkinson that's donning the goal shooter bib. Sasha Glasgow in goal attack. Jordan Kranzberg, a familiar name to this Vixen side, in wing attack. Centre, Verity Simmons back in the green after we saw her for the Swifts last year. Jess Ansis, wing defence. Fran Williams in goal defence. And Caitlin Brown in goalkeeper. So plenty to look forward to. The temperature is high in here, and so is the volume. So bear with us because it's going to be a cracking game between two formidable sides.
And we're already off and cracking with the Fever. First centre pass. And you can see that difference that having Olivia Wilkinson in the goal shooter position is already, we've got an active and moving shooter. You know that they're going to run a bit of a different setup. Slightly taller than Glasgow, who's not short herself. And a great start there from Olivia Wilkinson.
Yeah, confident shot as well, just turned and went straight to post. So fair few Victorian athletes in this Fever side as well, which I'm sure the Melbourne Vixens will be happy, well, the Victorian crowd will be happy with, I should say.
It certainly is. We've had a number over the years go through that Fever lineup who've been pathway players from the Victorian system and building on success when they take opportunities across there. Finding the sideline, gets a held ball. Does Simmons. She just couldn't find anyone coming towards it. Ended up on top of her, so opportunity here for the Vixens.
Western.
We see Zara Walters get the first couple of touches. And oh, what a lovely ball in. That ball from Maloney to Garvin. An early miss, though. Garvin does follow it up. Sometimes a little bit hesitant on the first one, but rarely misses the second.
Shake off the cobwebs. It's been a big couple of days. It's been a big, I suppose, international season for Garvin as well, along with Kate Maloney. A number of these players out on court have been representing their country. So, you know, pre-season reconnecting back with those connections in clubland, it's always a bit different, isn't it?
That is very much so. You run slightly different setups when you're up at that next level, and you want him to keep that intensity and that level of play as they look wide to Wilkinson. Just edges out and over the top. It comes off the hands, the way of the Vixens. That's a great opportunity there for the turnover. Weston in her classic wind-up.
Was expecting that to go travelling halfway down the court. She wound up that much, but pulled it back. And Graham now just hovering outside the circle. Struggling to find a way in at the moment, the Vixens really having to play the ball around before an option opens up.
Oh. And just saw the goal line drive from Graham. Just a bit too much on it. Was let go. But you can say there's terrific hands there from the Fever. A part of the cause of that. Had to force it up and over.
Intention's been clear from both sides so far. That 3-foot marking is really strong. Trying to block the vision. And that's nice play there from Glasgow. Another one that's returning to the Fever. So with the Mavericks last season and now back in the green dress for the Fever.
And already moving with a lot of confidence. Of course, a couple of years ago she had a horrific injury that she's managed to get back from the last couple of years. It's great for those Fever fans to see her back in the green.
And confident on the shot as well, which is what we love.
And Graham gets her first attempt. And there's been so much pressure already from Fran Williams on her. It's great to see the initial shot go true.
And that's quick play there from Kransberg and Wilkinson. Strong connection. And as we mentioned, Glasgow straight into the thick of things. Quick little flick off over the top to her shooting counterpart.
She's come out determined, has Glasgow. You can see there is absolute intent in every movement that she's doing. She's making them commit to her, force that shot into a better spot. And Garvin, tell you what, under the post, not going to miss many there.
Have a feeling that this game is going to turn into a bit of a shootout from the intent from both sides so far.
And
Kransberg tried absolutely everything to keep it in there. Maybe she was inspired by the likes of Heffernan earlier in the match.
I tell you what, if she'd watched her, she would have probably got it in, I think.
Somehow pulled it out.
Can watch the footage to get back on that.
And again, we're seeing a lot of play just hogging the sides, 2-on-1, and the strength of Garvin prevails.
And look at that. What a cheer there is. Just for a nice, easy goal from the Vixens and an opportunity now to convert their centre pass. And just with that transition, didn't quite get the foot cleanly in the centre third.
Big toes were hanging over in the attacking third still. The pace from Verity Simmons there just to hit circle edge. Such strong connections you can tell have already been forged. Well, a lot of them already know each other's game very well.
It's just revisiting, isn't it?
It's just revisiting, isn't it? Passing back.
And the pressure there from Alice meant that Glasgow had no choice but to hear footsteps. Going to be a hard one to pull in. And look in transition completely down the sideline. Looking for that spin and hold is Graham. Opens up, should shoot this one.
Looks confident to post,
Yeah.
and she absolutely drained that one.
And that is part of her role in this side, is being able to shoot that mid-range shot and ensure that they're going to post quite confidently. Because you know Garvin's going to get them under the post a lot more. And of course, Austin, when she's back on, is going to bridge that gap, isn't she?
Oh, I'm sure that we've heard the crowd already screaming for Garvin.
Yeah.
The reception, I imagine, will be very similar to that when Kira Austin steps on court. So if you don't see it, you'll hear it first.
Oh, absolutely will. And I am looking forward to that.
Wilkinson slots another one for the Fever. So neck and neck so far.
And struggling both teams to convert their centre passes for the last couple of minutes of play.
You don't often say that about these sides. They're normally pretty slick and consistent, but that's a nice bit of play there. Almost a bit of a role reversal when it comes into that attacking third. Glasgow slotting into that goal shooter role.
And I think that's the advantage of when they run this Glasgow-Wilkinson combination, is they can pretty clearly interchange between both roles and both positions. There, Garvin, the big long turn. That's their tally, and you see a few Vixens posters go up and around from the kids in the stadium. Wants a long one, Glasgow, lifts it up. A lot of overhead at the moment going on. And just helping nudge it through was Maloney. Kransberg made sure it was hers, though.
Then it came back to her.
She was not expecting that.
No, she wasn't. But the hands worked faster. And that's
Wilkinson.
another one.
Yeah, she just has such a soft finish to her shot.
Yeah, that's a really good way to describe it, isn't it? It is just kind of soft and almost poetic.
It is. You got versus a Glasgow who's a bit more bent in the arm, and it brings it down a little bit more. The release point's a bit different. And just Wilkinson's that slightly more up and about, but it's like gliding through soft paper or something.
To be studied. And that's an opportunity that went astray there for the Vixens, and now quick into attack are the Fever. Contact call there against Joe Weston.
Yeah, she wasn't happy with it for a moment. The umpire just explained clearly to her what she'd done. And they're doing some nice goaler-to-goaler action here, are they? So now looking to close the circle and see what that brings in terms of... But the break call, just they burn you when they occur. Trying to get out quick across the line was Kransberg. It was just too quick in the end.
And that's a few times that pass in particular there has gone astray for the Vixens. That you can see what they're trying to do. Garvin's trying to create that hold in the back space, but the pass has just not been executed yet, allowing the Fever that opportunity to capitalise, and they've done exactly like that and making the Vixens pay on the scoreboard. So they've opened up a handy 3-goal lead now.
And the timeout has been called by the Vixens. Not complete surprise there. An opportunity just to reset and clean up probably what's going on in that attacking third in particular. They're struggling with throwing the ball cross-court a fair bit, and it's getting tapped back. And it's Fran Williams is one of the ones putting so much pressure on that.
She is, and that hands-over pressure is also just creating that deception and confusion on where to throw the ball. Interestingly enough, you saw as both teams were heading into the tactical timeout, Joe Weston and Rudy Ellis deep in conversation about the defensive duo that they've got going there. So it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do differently to try and combat that combination that Glasgow and Wilkinson have got going at the moment. Because as you mentioned, they're moving really well.
And new assistant coach to them this year, Shani Layton, just been very animated in her, which is very much her. I'm surprised we can't hear her over the top of the
Never say never. It's not too soon.
she's really having a strong chat with, you can see with Williams there going, yeah, this is what you're doing well, this is what you've got to be doing. And no doubt that's been a valuable contribution to that side.
What a huge win for the Fever to have the experience and expertise of Shani Layton in their coaching mix alongside clearly Sue Gordian and Dan Ryan. So a formidable lineup from their perspective as well. And as you mentioned, you can see that defensive pressure is already coming out strong.
And the contact call there going against Mundy. He's collecting a bit too much body on the way through. And it provides another opportunity for the Fever to try and push this lead out. They're currently at 3. Wilkinson trying to make it 4. Ellis just hoping for the release there from Wilkinson. It didn't come. So she takes advantage of that and sinks it.
Maybe that was what they were discussing in that huddle.
Get over the shot a little bit more.
And create that confusion, that anticipation of when is Rudy going to jump, when is Joe going to jump.
And in particular, I think with Wilkinson's shot, more so than Glasgow's, is just really putting the doubt in there. Glasgow's a bit more used to stand up against this pressure. Wilkinson's had a few less opportunities with it. But it is a great moment here for her to see how she goes.
Kate Maloney commanding the ball as she does. But just a bit stagnant and almost a Vixen sandwich there. Yeah. Miscommunication between Mundy and Maloney doesn't happen too often, but managed to come up with the goods. And another beautiful shot there from Lily Graham.
And they're able to hug it out. And Fever's now just made a call. And actually, by the looks of it, Glasgow may have copped a hit or just getting treated slightly in this moment. So take advantage of it. You can see the coaching panel, as you said, for Dan Ryan, Sue Gordian and Shani Layton there. Some big names. And
very big names and handy to have in your back pocket.
And Dan doing what he's traditionally done, which is working with the goalers in that midcourt on how to structure and clean that up. Really just trying to say, this is what you need to be doing. As good old Gordo, who I've had the pleasure of being up in the commentary booth with before, is getting in there and just cleaning up what's going on there. And I've no doubt that she'll be giving them a strong word or two.
Doesn't sound like Sue Gordian.
At all.
And you can see over in the Vixens, very player-led. You can see Di in there now as well, just having a chat and trying to rally the troops around what she wants them to be doing. But so far, it's been a very even match.
Yeah, despite the fact we're 7-11, it's probably been more to do with the Vixens throwing ball away. Yes, there's been some terrific pressure from this Fever side with their hands over, but the structure just fallen away slightly from that Vixens. So if they can clean that up, all of a sudden they're well and truly back in this and it's a tighter game. But it is only 4 the difference, and we've got super shots in this period to come.
Be interesting to see what does the super shot bring. Also interesting to see Zara Walters in that wing defence role. She's done a good job so far. It's clearly only been 10 minutes or so, but interesting to see that kind of come to fruition. And that's a nice goal there from the Fever, so they keep their tally ticking along. Graham just caught out a little bit high, and beautiful pass there straight to Sophie Garvin under the post. And that's what we kind of come to see, become used to seeing from the Vixens, that short, sharp, clinical play. Taking out the aerial.
Is what they're normally so good at, right? Oh, thought it might have just come off a foot, helped to it. Quick transition through.
Joe Weston just providing absolutely no room there for Glasgow. But Wilkinson doesn't mind. She found herself in prime real estate.
Yeah, and that's a tough spot to actually shoot it from, as a lot of goalers will know. That right under the post one, trying to keep your natural action and your arc to sink it in. So well done to her.
It's funny because everyone always thinks that that's the exact spot you want to be on, but it just feels uncomfortable, doesn't it?
Yeah, you give it just that smidge extra room, and all of a sudden that shot looks a bit better. 9-14, so 13, sorry, just 4 the difference where I was going with the 4 there. And just working it patiently through still. And you can see now it's trying to apply some pressure a bit further up the court was Western, but just getting caught a bit too much on the hip.
And the angle of Glasgow just allowing that. And how about that shot? That was from downtown, and it rolled in. Simmons just unlucky there. Thought she got away with it, but the elevation was impressive to say the least. Graham now looking for her first 2-point shot.
As terrific pressure across it from Brown. And this is something you do see a lot more nowadays, is that side-on defence over the shot, particularly on the shooting arm side. If they're bringing it out a little bit wider, not afraid to keep the distance from there rather than always directly in front.
What do you think that is?
It's a different pressure, and it's a different eye position. And I know from a defender that plays the Victorian men's side, he's really conscious of let's create different angle, and you can be a bit closer to it, the ball as well, in the sense of, yes, you're 3 feet, but that shooting arm, if you're closer to that, rather than 3 feet from the other side. It's
taking out that angle, like you mentioned, and just trying to shake things in a different way. And it's really interesting to see those different tactics come to life, and you can see it in preseason, especially what they're trying to do and what differences they're trying to make, whether it's a little 1%ers to have an impact on their overall SSN season.
And it's what things may or may not work that you've worked on training, and how long you can persist with something whilst you're still working on it as well. And it can be a hard thing for players when you've been working on something at training, as we've seen another thing there from Sasha Glasgow, is going, let's keep working out against the stronger opposition or against something that where the people aren't aware of the same structure, to see how they play that out.
It's a tactical mind game, and it's great to watch. And we're privy to have the best seats in the house at the moment to see it all unfolding. As we mentioned, Ballarat Blitz weekend. We've got tomorrow full of action-packed games as well.
That's the thing. It is a whole weekend, this Ballarat Blitz, brought to you from the City of Ballarat and the Victorian government. And it's been running for a few years now, and well supported by obviously the teams as well as the people in the stands.
Exactly. I'm very lucky to have the top 4 teams from SSN last year coming over to Ballarat and getting around it, which is great. As we see the scoreboard continue to tick, and the Fever have really put their foot down, 10-17. Less than a minute to go. They looked like they were going to add another one to their tally, but not to be.
And a nice little listen to where the umpire's signalling there. It's in the centre third, not the goal third. And they're going to look at transitioning. Will they go for the 2 here is the question. No,
nice
they're going.
Play.
Oh, thinks about it for a moment. That's a tough one to do. Lily Graham, she managed to get back into action quickly enough without it being a held ball. But, my gosh, she did think about the 2 there.
The temptation was there, that's for sure. And I think now, clock ticking down to under 10 seconds, do they go there again, or do they just play it safe and convert the 1? And once again, it's that cross-court ball that we've mentioned. It's just the spacing or the execution just hasn't been on song as of yet.
Yeah, there's been a couple from Monday where it's like she's just lost some of the depth on the pass for a moment there. If she can clean that up a little bit, which we know she's been able to in the past, then a couple of those are going to get through, and then all of a sudden this score is a little bit different. We are going to the break, 11-17. We're back. It's only been the one quarter so far of Vixens and Fever here in the Ballarat Blitz. And I tell you what, it's been an exciting start. It is the Fever who got up here early. They are up by 6. They've got the one super shot in. Vixens just struggled a little bit sometimes in attack. Tell you what, if they've cleaned that up, how good it's going to be. Taylor, what were your takeaways?
My takeaways were pretty much exactly that. I think it's really interesting that the defensive combination for the Fever has been really strong so far. We've seen Caitlin Brown and Fran Williams really combining well and just creating that deception of space, which I think Vixens are falling into a little bit. We saw a couple of those shots, just passes, I should say, going astray, and just too much pressure or depth on them. It is super loud in here. The fans are going crazy, which is great to see. But yeah, now we've got that second quarter underway, and we can see already Vixens have made a couple of changes. I'm not sure if all the fans have clocked onto it yet, but Kira Austin has entered the match. So that'll be an interesting addition, and seeing just how the Vixens front end looks now.
It'll be very interesting indeed. And we've already got a turnover heading the way of the Vixens. This is how they want to start this quarter. So much pressure on. And Walters and Maloney just linking up, and Kira Austin, first touch of the match, up and over to Garvin, and gee, she finds her connection with her so well. The cheer is up and about. First centre pass, first break, going the way of the Vixens.
Made it look easy, didn't she? Just that connection, and knows how to side her. The speed there just to burn on the inside.
And it's just the way that Austin moves through the circle. It's making Williams a bit more accountable. I think using that speed is that one thing that Williams unfortunately doesn't have in her arsenal. She's great at clogging up space. She's great at cutting off angles. But sometimes it's just keeping up with that player who's that little bit faster.
And it just draws the attention of both defenders, which we saw in that passage of play earlier. Now Maloney calling for it. Just an opportunity here once again. Austin on the goal line and makes no mistake. So that introduction has done exactly what we would have anticipated, just eaten into that scoreboard, 14-17, and that connection now, no deception there. That was straight into Garvin under the post.
Now, famously, last year the term "there's no plan B" came out for this side, and I tell you what, they've shown a good couple of plan Bs already in the fact that you've got Zara Walters running that wing defence position reasonably well against Kranzberg, but also the fact that they were able to have Graham on for that entire first quarter, still be up and about it, not just play a role coming on for the 2-pointers.
Looked comfortable out there, which I think is the main thing as well. Happy to go for those longer shots. That pass probably would have liked to have done that one over from Kira Austin. Now Fever looking to capitalise on the momentum.
Oh, Weston saw it. She had a hunt. It was just that little bit too far away, but she'd already committed. Has to go the long way round to get back. And Wilkinson just says, thank you very much. I will sink this one under the post. Another opportunity for the Fever with their centre pass.
As we mentioned in that first quarter, was that almost centre pass conversion they were struggling with both sides. And now it's almost following suit again.
Now just watch the footwork here of Wilkinson from that last play. She was lucky to have released before she'd actually lifted those feet. That's something on that little refeed that she's just going to have to keep an eye on, that she doesn't actually lift that foot before that ball has been released.
And it's definitely something the umpires will be keeping an eye on as well.
Absolutely. And it was a tougher call because it was far side of the court, but if she's doing that on ball side and bench side in this case, it'll be a lot more difficult. Garvin sinking another one, crucial there for the Vixens. Oh, and that's what Simmons is known for, is just that little jump and glide through. Finds Wilkinson right underneath the post, and welcome back to her into the side, Simmons.
And just the flair as well, just made it look so easy. That's not an easy thing to do, but yet somehow Verity Simmons made it look very easy.
Oh, we knew that pop was coming from Austin. Garvin was waiting for it. Thought maybe it was going to go back to her. Austin thought about it for a while, and the brief miss is rebounded by Garvin. And just applying pressure to Maloney. And you can see now, Fever have worked on trying to get some separation in their attack to create more angles. they're making Weston and Ellis work so hard there. And finding post with, I wouldn't say with ease, but a bit more fluidity perhaps.
It's exactly that, though. They just sometimes, and I think this is what preseason is all for, just figuring out those combinations and trialing different things. And you can see just the cogs ticking there on how to make those connections. Beautiful long-range shot for Sophie Garvin there.
And we say about that fluidity and timing is that aspect. Is that you can train, and they train at intensity, these sides. But once you're now up against that opposition and playing at that really tough match speed that the SSN is known for, then it's just getting slightly different on that timing, and it's almost a slightly different match fitness that you need.
It is, and it's completely different in terms of you're used to playing against your team members, so you know certain things. You have the intricate knowledge of how
Instincts, right? Of where to go.
Exactly. Whereas when you are playing against opposition, there's always something that you don't know, and that's what makes it all the more exciting.
And getting a break on centre pass were the Vixens. Continuing the theme of the early game, they're going to want to convert. Beautiful front cut and, quick release from Austin. Garvin, though, there's no one chasing it up. Fran Williams couldn't quite get to it. Maybe it had already gone out of court.
A couple of early misses there from Garvin, but it's not something she would like, but the volume she gets, it kind of compensates for it, doesn't it?
And it must be said, those times that she does miss Garvin, a lot of it is her getting her own rebound from that as well, or at least contesting it back in to a teammate. That was probably a rare one where it almost fell in the hands of the opposition. The 1-2 there from Wilkinson. Not liking Ellis's arms over it. And then the offside there, Simmons just getting helped across. It was terrific pressure on hands there.
And great reach there from Austin. Had to get up high. We haven't spoken too much about Walters, but playing such a key role in that, shutting down Kranzberg, because we know how speedy Kranzberg is and the influence she can have.
And they've had some recognition of playing against each other as well, have Walters and Kranzberg, when both were getting opportunities in the Suncorp reserves competition last year. Walters so valuable for the Vixens Academy there when she wasn't getting opportunities at this level.
And that's the great thing about the reserves. It does give those fringe players an opportunity to really, I suppose, as we were talking about, match fitness and playing against opposition. It's such an integral moment. And especially, we know we've got Commonwealth Games coming up and all of those big major events looking forward for future development. Reserves and opportunities like that are just limitless.
Yeah, and obviously an advancement on what used to be the ANC and before that the ANL competitions. It really feels like this year you're getting some of those bench players who, if they haven't had the court time as well, getting a bit more court time when you have those double headers occurring, and getting that match opportunity only helps players get better and better at that top level. And we see this timeout occurring, and similar to those ones before, there's been a bit of a split where it's attackers and defenders being spoken to separately for the Fever, and then a little bit more player-led, and with Di Honey as well for all of the attackers in midcourt. But you've got Alice and Weston having a bit more of a chat amongst themselves, just trying to work out how to clean up a couple of the setups that are getting played against them.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, I suppose, trying to figure out how you do combat those and what other challenges are going to be thrown your way, and then just also having that moment to take a breath, reassess, and then try and stick back to the usual routines that you know work so well. At the end of the day, it is only a small margin, 3 goals of difference, but this is that perfect opportunity for them to have a break, reassess, and keep going.
And that timeout, it's getting called back onto court. This is probably one of the earlier timeouts we've seen across the day so far. Most of them have been around the 5 minutes ago mark leading into that super shot moment.
Quite literally a tactical timeout ahead of super shot and figuring out what the best way forward is.
The structure and what they want to run this time. You see the off the body work in the hands. Once again, Williams always so big on those hands.
What a front end for the Vixens. It is virtually the Diamonds front end in terms of Maloney, Watson used to be there. Gosh, I'm going back a bit in time here. But Maloney, Austin and Garvin, such a strong, formidable trio.
And, of course, Hannah Mundy, part of the first mother and daughter Diamonds.
Exactly.
With her mother, Shelley O'Donnell, being a famous wing attack and centre for the Kestrels and the Diamonds. And I am old enough to have played against Shelley at some point, which I'm not happy to admit age-wise there as well. Beautiful long shot there now. As attempt, as we have seen the change in the goals with Glasgow. Having a seat, which, when they know that she is still so good from that 2-point range, probably a great opportunity to run something slightly different.
Or maybe give her a little breather until that time comes up. Fan favourite Jo Weston there, reaping the rewards. And now Maloney in the pocket, waiting for Garvin to pop out, and she does exactly that.
And
so it still stands at a 3-goal difference, but now the Vixens have an opportunity to go back-to-back with goals here if they can find a way forward.
And they're going to want the 2-pointer off this one. It's their centre pass. It's normally their tactic to try and work for the 2-pointer off their centre pass. And, beautiful 1-2 though. And I'll tell you what, you'll take the 1-pointer if it's such a beautiful play as that. The way that Garvin just came through the top of the circle, popped, almost looked like she was just going to pull up for the 2 herself. But Austin doing what she can do and find space where there is none. Wonderful.
Split the middle. It was just timed to absolute perfection there. Simmons trying to find a way forward, and Fran Williams has been so strong in that goal defence role so far for the Fever.
And it was a great example for defenders at home, or people come through, the young players come through ranks, that give and go. You've found yourself sidelined as a defender, kicking it back and then cutting forward, and all of a sudden you're back further middle. And a contact call has gone against Wilkinson there. And the crowd is pretty happy for Rudy Ellis and the Vixens to get another opportunity.
Walters now through the middle of the court. You can see the intention there of Maloney. She was, Mundy that is, trying to roll off her opponent.
Almost provided a distraction with that little fall down.
Yes, it did, didn't it?
The WorkSafe sticker maybe not being as WorkSafe as planned. But they do end up with a goal, which is the important thing for the Vixens.
And it's almost back at level pegging, and the siren is about to sound for super shot.
And awesome. And speaking of WorkSafe, here in Victoria, there'll be so many people in this crowd who play footy netball across the weekends and often using the WorkSafe netball where there's the opportunity where Vixens players occasionally out at local clubs.
Yeah, and what a great opportunity. I think we've said before it was so great post-game. So many of the fans getting down and taking photos with the players, and that is really what we love to see because it makes your day when you kind of get out and get to interact with the athletes and see them up close and personal. It's such a special moment. And Sophie Garvin delivers there once again. So the Vixens have now hit the front 25-24. Centre pass to follow. Opportunity to really capitalise here and cement themselves.
A little hook over pass there. Austin, you could see the way she was gliding through there. Do I finish this move off or not?
Wasn't sure which foot she landed, and I think knew ultimately that she was going to get pulled. And that's a good shot there from Wilkinson.
And Glasgow has returned to the court there. So it was just a brief appearance there from Sloane Burton.
Just a few minutes for Glasgow to sit down, watch what's happening out on court, and then come on and do what she does best, and that is go for those 2-point shots and be a real threat on the scoreboard.
And a rare 2 missed there. Of course, one was from the penalty, so we don't really count that, but you expected her to sink the second one. 25 apiece, just over 3 minutes to go, second quarter.
Hugging that sideline, aren't they, at the moment, the Vixens, just trying to find some depth.
Maloney just knowing how to use her body as she has for years. Oh, Austin. That is one of my favourite sort of shots from her, is the one where she just looks casual as anything, looks it up and then turns, just like, yeah, what, that's normal.
Yeah, easy as you like. Oh, that thing, I didn't, doesn't bother me. I can do that. And now Garvin's looking to showcase her 2-point shot range, but that one just had a little bit too much on it and rolled over the back. Clock is ticking down, just 2.5 left to play. And the Fever now trying to get back on the scoreboard. And that's a beautiful goal.
Yeah, the eyes saw that the defenders were out of action there. Olivia Wilkinson under post. I said about Kira Austin before, something we haven't seen from her yet is a defensive deflection, which she's so renowned for. So let's see if it happens in this last 2 minutes of this quarter. But Wilkinson doing everything she can to get another goal in. It's rebounded beautifully. Glasgow, they're still trying to work the two. Will concede the one.
And almost rattled out of the goal in itself there. I think Kira Austin almost needs her own column, like her own stats column that is just purely defensively based.
Just kip things.
Yeah, I reckon that would get some traction. Just saying.
Yeah, Melbourne Vixens media, let's have that happening on the socials this year. Hashtag kip things. I think we have a new campaign we can begin. 27 apiece, just under a minute and a half to go in the second quarter. They're just trying to use the back space there. And
wants the two. So
and also happy to kick it around a little bit, I think, is part of it.
Eat into the clock a little bit. As we mentioned, just a minute left to play. Austin now with the two. Rolls in. Fans are pretty happy with that one.
And the casual little pull down in the dress afterwards on the turnaround. Nothing to see here, guys. Just another 2-pointer.
It's a few people that have just been falling down in the back of play, I wonder.
And
there we go.
Austin doing kip things. I said it was going to come in this last 2 minutes, and there it does.
Oh, good look there from Caitlin Brown, though. The intent was there.
And the crowd is happy about that. Oh, they certainly know that when Austin gets an intercept and you score afterwards, how good that is.
And now Vixens have really got their tail up. Less than 30 to play in this quarter. They've just found another level of composure.
And you see even the way Mundy was holding it then, just no stress with it. Something will open up. And that's confidence in teammates. That's confidence in structures. As it does edge out there for Garvin on the long 2 attempt.
And trying
Great take, release. Oh.
It was almost a Hail Mary shot. The pass was ever so good, but just not enough time for the Fever there. So current scores 30-27. We saw a bit of a shift in that quarter. What are your main takeaways?
Well, obviously the injection of Kira Austin, huge impact that has, and the combination she has with Garvin. I don't think that Lily Graham was particularly doing anything wrong. It's just the difference that an Austin makes. She's a diamond goal attack for a reason. Fever just seemed to drop off a little bit of their defensive intensity in that one, and we're coming up with a little bit less ball. I'd like to see them find their way to post it with a bit more confidence once again and find a little bit of what was working for them early in that quarter and early across that first quarter.
Well, stay tuned because I think there will be plenty more to see for the second half of action.
Girls Weekend!
Be honest, when was the last time you planned a proper girls' weekend?
Relaxing day. Come on, did you get?
We kicked things off at Ballarat Sanctuary Day Spa.
Sorry, you need to hold my hand. I'm going to fall in, she says. Ooh. Oh, this feels so nice.
Hydro pool, jets on, tea in hand, immediate main character energy.
How relaxed do you feel, Kate?
12 out of 10.
90 minutes of pure do not disturb mode, facials, foot massages, lounging by the window like we own the place.
Good.
Yeah, very zen.
Bad.
Does our skin look amazing?
Tell me I look pretty.
You did lift some big heavy weights this morning, so you did. Yeah. You are probably the strongest vixen in the team, so you probably need that arm massage.
Then it's glam time. Outfit change, obviously.
This trip was really nice. I think I'm feeling a bit hungry.
Oh, I'm always hungry.
Next stop, Roy Hammond.
Ooh. Oh, yum. Bao buns, dumplings. Yum, I'm actually so excited.
Mocktail shaking, Korean-inspired yum cha landing on the table. We ordered one of everything. Zero regrets. The vibes are leaked.
Did the ice actually break? Oh, it's getting cold.
Like this.
Oh,
I know, I'm like an expert.
okay. Oh, there, look.
Oh,
Ooh.
cheers. Girls trip.
I know, mocktails. Do you want to try?
Cheers.
You know, they say, oh, don't quit your day job, but you should.
Ooh.
Your fairy floss fairy tale fantasy. I made it just for you. Do you love it?
10 out of 10.
Oh.
You're giving it back?
And just when you think it couldn't get any cuter, golden hour strolling through Hop Lane, Lydiard Street, Town Hall glowing in the background.
They should get Melbourne Vixens colours. Navy, crimson, teal, just for our weekend in Ballarat. What have we got, Jojo?
The raspberry drops.
It's iconic. They're iconic Ballarat.
Ballarat, she's classy, she's fun, she's booked for our next trip already.
A little bit hesitant on the first one, but rarely misses the second.
Shake off the cobwebs. It's been... And that's nice play there from Glasgow. Another one that's returning to the Fever. So with the Mavericks last season and confident on the shot as well, which is what we love.
And Graham gets her first attempt.
Straight into the thick of things. Quick little flick off over the top to her shooting counterpart.
She's come out determined, has forced that shot into a better spot. And Garvin, tell you what, under the post, not going to miss many there.
The sides, 2-on-1, and the strength of Garvin prevails.
And look at that. What
From Verity Simmons there, just to hit circle edge. Such strong connections, you can tell, have already been formed.
Up. Should shoot this one.
Looks confident to post, and she absolutely drained that one.
And that is part of her role.
If you don't see it, you'll hear it first.
Oh, absolutely will. And I am looking forward to that.
Wilkinson slots another one. They're normally pretty slick and consistent, but that's a nice bit of play there. Almost a bit of a role reversal. And that's another one.
Yeah, she just has such a soft finish to her shot.
Yeah, that's a really good way
to... What she'd done. And they're doing some nice goaler-to-goaler action here. Glasgow's is just really putting the doubt in there. Glasgow's a bit more used to stand up against this pressure. Wilkinson's had...
Miscommunication between Mundy and Maloney doesn't happen too often, but managed to come up with the goods. And another beautiful shot there. Caught out a little bit high. And beautiful pass there, straight to Sophie Garvin under the post.
Yeah, you give it just that smidge extra room, and all of a sudden that shot looks a bit better. 9-14, so 13, sorry, just 4 the difference.
Of Glasgow just allowing that, and how about that shot? That was from downtown, and see it in preseason, especially what they're trying to do and what differences they're trying to make, whether it's a little.
And it can be a hard thing for players when you've been working on something at training, as we see another sink there from the people in the stands.
Exactly, and very lucky to have the top 4 teams from SSN last year.
The match up and over to Garvin. Gee, she finds her connection with her so well. The cheer is up and about.
To Burn on the inside.
And it's just the way that Austin moves through the circle. It's making
on the goal line and makes no mistakes. So that introduction has done exactly what we would have no deception there. That was straight into Garben under the post.
Now, famously, reasonably well against Kranzberg, but also the fact that they were able to have Graham on for that entire first quarter, still be up and about it, not far away, but she'd already committed. Has to go the long way round to get back. And Wilkinson just says, thank you very much. Absolutely. And it was a tougher call because it was far side of the court, but if she's doing that on ball side and bench side in this case, Garben was waiting for it. Thought maybe it was going to go back to her. Austin thought about it for a while, and the brief miss is rebounded by Garben.
And you could see just the cogs ticking there on how to make those connections. Beautiful long-range shot for Sophie Garben there. There's always something that you don't know, and that's what makes it all the more exciting.
At this level.
And that's the great thing about the reserves. It does give those fringe players an opportunity to really in the pocket, waiting for Garben to pop out, and she does exactly that.
And beautiful 1-2 though. And I'll tell you what, you'll take the one-pointer if it's such a beautiful play as that. The way that Garben just came through.
Knew ultimately that she was going to get pulled. And that's a good shot there from Wilkinson.
And Glasgow Maloney just knowing how to use her body as she has for years. Oh, Austin. That is one of my favourite sort of shots from her.
Scoreboard. And that's a beautiful goal.
Yeah, the eyes saw that the defenders were out of action there.
A little bit, as we mentioned, just a minute left to play. Austin now with the two. Rolls in. Fans are pretty happy with that one. Oh, good look there from Caitlin Brown, though. The intent was there.
And the crowd is happy about that. Oh, they certainly know that when Austin gets an intercept and you score afterwards, how good that is.
And now Vixens have really got their tail up. Less than 30 to play in this quarter. They've just found another level of composure.
And you see even the way Mundy was holding it then, just no stress with it. Something will open up. And that's confidence in teammates. That's confidence in structures. As it does edge out there for Garben on the long 2 attempt.
And trying
Great
to
take,
go.
release. Oh.
It was almost... It would be, and it's definitely something. Gary. There just shifts things, and then it allows more frequency in scoring and building that scoreboard pressure. In saying that, there is only 3 goals of difference, but it is just something we're not used to seeing from either of these sides.
One thing that they would both be happy with, and I think coaches would be reasonably satisfied, is those game possession, where it's 81% of the time across the game for the Vixens that they're getting to score off game possession, 75% for the Fever. And importantly, for the Vixens in that particular quarter, it was 8 from 9 game possessions that they scored off, and that's what helped bring them back a bit. Just the 5 from 6 for the Fever. Still a great percentage, but just not the same volume of gains. And that's probably a bit of the difference in that first quarter. The second one was Fever dominating the gains.
It definitely is, and I think that'll be something to kind of keep our eye on throughout this match and see what changes and if it is that defensive pressure and how that conversion looks. It's, a really interesting space, and as we kind of mentioned throughout the broadcast, preseason is a perfect opportunity for players to get out there. We've seen Caitlin Brown, for example. We haven't seen much of her before for the Fever, and she's really holding her own in this defensive end. And kind of working out, what do these new combinations look like? And definitely, as you were mentioning, around the gains, possessions and things like that, that is something that every coach loves to see. See it in the green when you know that high conversion rate, you're getting ball back and you're shooting it. That's what you love to see.
And the other great thing about this weekend is the opportunity to just see, hey, which players want to step up who maybe aren't that traditional starting 7. And of course, we'd seen a couple of players change for the Fever since the previous season. So you're expecting some players to try and take some opportunities there. You often have your starting 7, but doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. We have also started to see players come out on court, and we're already seeing a couple of changes across the court. We've seen Maggie Karras come on into goalkeeper for the Vixens. We've also seen, by the looks of it, it's Ali O'Connor come on into wing defence, and Zara Walters move to wing attack. And we've also seen the change. We've got Lily Graham going back into goal shooter with Kira Austin out in front. That'll be an interesting little setup there for the Vixens. Just having the slight change in height there. Not that Lily Graham's short by any means.
No, exactly, yeah. But it's a bit more of a moving circle as well. We know traditionally that Lily likes to that Graham likes to get on the move a lot more. So really interesting to see how that combination works, and defensively how the Fever kind of shape up to that. And Maggie Karras already straight into the thick of things, using those long arms.
And she is so good on the hunt. She doesn't stay quiet for long in goalkeeper, does Harris. We've also seen her have runs out at goal defence and be effective there. A chance here for Walters.
Back in her more traditional position, which we've become accustomed to seeing her in that wing attack role. And speaking of gains to conversion, that is one that's gone tick straight in the book.
That is exactly what they'll be after, the Vixens. And that connections from Walters. Oh, terrific release and backspace there from Graham. Just edges out, though.
And Fever straight onto it, picking that loose ball up. Scarlett Jauncey has also entered the match for the Fever in that goalkeeper position. So a couple of changes. We had mentioned only moments ago that both teams are kind of stuck to their traditional starting 7s, and there hadn't been many changes, but they've got the last laugh now, and there's a few changes across the board.
Yeah, they certainly like to keep us guessing a little bit here, the players. As Wilkinson remains in that shooter position, they're really giving her the opportunity there. And this time up and in. Sloane Burton unable to sink it. We've also seen Kranzberg have a seat. We'll see how she's going to kick that out. Simmons does continue in centre, though.
Kate Maloney continuing in her centre role as well.
Of course, as Alice Teague kneeled, it took me a moment to realise that in the wing attack position.
I did Yes, that is a good point. The similar bun from Kranzberg almost made it unrecognisable.
And Teague Neild, been another Victorian product, moved from playing as the goal attack to wing attack since being with the Fever.
Burton just stuck up a little bit higher than she would have liked. And a penalty going the way of the Vixens. So really starting to claim some ascendancy, the home side at the moment.
Certainly doing everything they can to make a difference here. They've come out with intent, with purpose, and they're wanting to score and convert more. They'll be taking some of those stats on board of trying to get a high percentage. Oh, great goal line move. Jauncey just was caught a bit too flat there. And Graham
the
able
vision.
to find the lead. It was brilliant vision indeed. And this is why they're not afraid, the Vixens, to run a moving goal shooter. Can find the connection. You've still got the brilliant arms of Austin out the front, rather than almost sacrificing that defensive effort by putting Austin back into shooter.
Yeah, we were talking about Kip doing Kip things. Don't want that.
No, definitely not.
Simmons just little flick pass to her teammate in Teague Neild until Wilkinson popped open inside the circle and inches herself closer to the post. So that's a good steadier, because before you know it, it's a 6-goal margin or a 6-goal deficit at the moment, depending which side you're on.
And once again, it's that same sort of cutback, this time a little bit higher from Graham. It's a tough one, decision-making wise there. That got to start thinking about it, does Jauncey.
It's a great pass into the pocket there for Verity Simmons.
Fran Williams has actually also taken a seat, and she'd been working really hard there for the Fever for so long. It's another one sinks Phil Wilkinson.
Just a bit of a shuffle. Maloney just trying to find where to place that ball. He's trying to do that big sweep to get the eyes of the defenders moving, but it didn't really seem to faze them too much.
And Graham just seems to be going with a bit more intent with her actions. Maybe just told that when you go, you've just got to really go, rather than just sort of halving it is probably one of the better terms.
She's really giving the defenders no other option but to give her attention. She is commanding that ball and looking really comfortable in that goal shooter position, working the circle really nicely, using the angles, but also that turn of speed that she's got to dart back in has been really strong. Up the other end there was Wilkinson that kept the tally ticking over there for the Fever.
And you can see Austin started pretty much back in the circle on that one. It was for a late play there from Zara Walters.
And there you go again. Just the confidence to let it go into Graham. Manoeuvring her body nicely just to get the fall of the ball almost. Really strong opening few minutes from Graham.
Yeah, she was in a hole for a moment that didn't look like it was a strong position, but the placement of the ball really opened up the angle nicely. And Wilkinson trying to open up her own angle. Karras just getting caught on the throw.
And that's
Wilkinson
another one.
doing everything right so far for the Fever in terms of coming out strong.
Steadying the ship for them up front. She's providing that really key, I suppose, holding role or just that key linchpin for them to release the ball to. Quick transition down the side of the court here. Alice Teague Neild on the circle edge here. Karras hits the deck and it opens up Wilkinson, who adds another one to her tally.
Yeah, you can see Karras just getting caught wrong-footed. It does mean that the Fever, rather, are trying to now score off their own after converting 37-32 the way of the Vixens and wanting to stop here. The girls in navy blue.
Karras happy to allow Wilkinson just that bit of extra space there, knowing she's going to do the damage under the post. What do you think of that as a defensive tactic?
Kara's plays smart. She knows which ones to have a go at, which ones. I think just trying to put some doubt in there that give the feed over me, risk it. And that's a tough thing to do because Karis is so good at getting hands onto the action. Great screen set up there. Austin knew the hit was going to come.
Just stood there and took it. And that was well executed there from the Vixens. They had a few options. Now for the Fever.
And
just having to go backwards to go forwards, and it's Kira Austin once again.
I mean,
that reach
Anstey's
and
could
tap.
do nothing against that as soon as it was in the air above her.
Just that extra elevation and I suppose extra little bit of height that Austin has. Justin able to reel that in so cleanly.
And gain to score. That's another one to the percentage there for the Vixens.
Miscommunication, but somehow, I thought that was Lily Graham's. I mean, she
it was almost
had
saved miraculously there. And you see Austin apologise to Walters for that she was getting ready to pop instead of reading where the space on the back space there was.
Weston out for the fly on that one. That's a long looping pass over into Verity Simmons. And now just inching closer, and that's another good goal there for Wilkinson. So a couple of defensive changes, or not changes, but tactics there from the Vixens, just trying to get in and create havoc. Long arm brigade out in full force today.
We've seen this a couple of times where Fever and a couple of other teams, all the traffic is going to that one pocket between not even top and pocket, and all the defenders are caught up in there. They're confident in their spacing, even though they're on top of each other, to still find a score.
The tight quadrants doesn't seem to bother them, does it? They just know their game plan so well. And that's a good goal there from Graham right under the post. That was almost within 15 seconds, if not quicker. That's how fast that conversion for the home side was. Teague Neal, dangerous as ever, and that's a nice little 1-2 play to bring Burton into the action.
But Joe Weston does not like other people getting rebounds, so she makes sure she gets it, rips it in strong, and then is on the run. Just waiting for something to open up.
Both sides have shown a lot of patience throughout this game. Happy to rework the ball every time if they need to find that avenue to goal.
And great recognition there from Graham. She half went for the shot. Does edge out though. And she kicked it out just as that siren was going. Goes for the 2-point attempt. Unfortunately, no good. That would have been a moment to bring it out to 7. Instead, it is the Fever with this opportunity. Will they be looking for the 2-point? Stay onside. No! Ali O'Connor just couldn't quite stay.
And the footwork was so close. He did it so cleanly, but just unlucky there for O'Connor. She's been a great asset to include into this team throughout this third term.
Yeah. The thing with O'Connor is you know that she's just going to have a crack the entire time.
And you also know that Kira Austin's always a pretty steady shot under the post.
And deliberately taking herself away there as Graham allows the 1-1. But there's no one top of the circle for the tap down. It is pulled in by Simmons.
You could see they were all in two minds almost trying to figure out whether to go for the super shot and where to defend. So, interestingly enough, the Vixens kind of backed away. O'Connor, again, as you mentioned, just on the hunt now. She's got the pace down pat and just wants to wreak havoc in that defensive end for the Vixens.
And big arms from Harris looking for the offload. And this is where that 2-point tactic can work so well. Because it's certainly not a traditional position to goaler it, except in the super shot moment.
There you go, Kira Austin looking for her own super shot. It's going to turn into a super shot shootout.
That it is 40-37, just over 3 minutes to go. And the Vixens with it on the edge of the circle, waiting for something to open.
And you can just see again, Graham just trying to figure out whether to go for that 2-point or not. And Austin drains it herself.
Or just leave it for Kira Austin. Let her do it.
Ooh. Bit of a collision there between Kira Austin. Who was that went down?
It looks like Jess Anstis. Yeah. I mean, not afraid to take a hit, Anstis, but certainly I don't think she was expecting the call to go that way just because she was continuing on with the body. But the Vixens are going to take it quite happily. And now they're centre pass. And they're getting down. Look at the effort there to get all the way down. It was Teague Neal and Burton.
Just trying to create something, the Fever. But the Vixens seem to have the answers at the moment, and this is another goal to add to their tally and open up an 8-goal lead for them. So moments ago, it was only 2 or 3 goals. Just how quickly that shift has happened.
This transition's looking so much better from the Fever. Centre pass, top of the circle and pocket, all looking nice. But they've got to score. Oh, awkward take from Burton. Good rip in.
Long shot here. Is that the 2? That's the super shot that they've been after.
Well, much better release there from Wilkinson. Awkward footwork from Walters, but effective. Austin, you could always see she had the corner of the eye going offload. It's in!
It just rung and rung and rung around before it dropped, and that's another good one from Graham.
And just another offensive contact going against Fever. Not something that they're wanting at all. The release and ripped in.
Great control from Graham there, just to have the awareness of where to flick it back into Walters.
And also just the footwork to remain on court, to manage to just glide that left foot back in front and keep it not across the goal line. Austin steps it up and they convert off their gain there. 47-39, 30 seconds to go. They want at least one more here, if not a super shot.
Opening up to the biggest lead of the game so far. 8 goals currently if there's no super shot. And Graham's thinking otherwise. Falls short. Somehow Austin almost collected that.
Yeah, goes for the tap. It goes down. There's still just over 10 seconds to go. This is going to be tough to get down in time with a clean release. Trying not to get called for the deliberate contact there. Up in. Great hands there. Unfortunately, a little bit too much on it. There is a shot to come. Scarlett Jauncey out of play.
Graham loading up. Just too many Weet-Bix on that shot and just went well over the goal line. So current score is 47-39. That was a quarter. That was a very strong quarter from the Vixens, I should say. They really came out with some strong intent, and that position from Graham was really impressive just to see her command the space and dominate in the goal circle.
And in terms of scoring, we're saying about biggest margin of the game. The biggest margin had been 6 at the end of any quarter, and that was the opposite way at the end of the first quarter when it was 11-17, 30-27 at half, and of course now 47-39. There's going to be a big fourth quarter, and I tell you what, I don't think the Fever are going to make it easy.
Absolutely not. Stick around, we've got more to go.
back for a big final quarter here of the Ballarat Blitz between Melbourne Vixens and West Coast Fever. We've gone into the final break. It was 47-39. We know we've got a big quarter ahead and some changes on the court. Rudy Ellis returns into goalkeeper. We've seen Maggie Karras come out into goal defence. Hannah Mundy comes back on into centre. Sophie Garvin returns in the goal shooter bib. So a couple of changes there. Oh, and of course captain Maloney has gone into wing defence.
It's a full reshuffle, isn't it?
I thought maybe they were going to give Maloney a little bit of a break, but wing defence is, of course, where she spent a lot of her early days in her career, even pre-Vixens.
Whose decision do you think that was about the break? Do you think Maloney said, "No, it's all right. I'm ready. I'm ready to go."
You know, Maloney's just going to keep going regardless. She will run literally all day, as required. Make no mistake about that. And then similarly, we've seen change here for Fever. It's Glasgow into goal shooter this time. And we have seen Fran Williams return to the court. I don't think we're surprised there. But also Kransberg having a run in the centre, giving Simmons a bit of a break there.
So changes galore. I'm interested to see how this impacts the scoreboard for the Fever and if this creates a bit of difference or so close there for Williams. You could see what her intent was, trying to get around the body of Garvin and create that deflection, but got caught on the body. Austin, that shot slightly off, but Garvin picking up the crumbs.
And it was a very classic Austin sort of move, stepping directly in front of where the player is out of play. Unfortunately, the miss for her, but followed up by the miss for Sophie Garvin as well.
A long cross-court pass there to Fran Williams. Just held up now, Kransberg. Teague Neild repositioning, trying to get away from Maloney.
Alice, the right hand was great. The left hand a bit too much on it. That's an unfortunate moment there. And just loose ball down it. It falls away of Glasgow. Turns straight to post. On the lean. Managed to sink it quite nicely. Must be said.
Yeah, it was a bit casual in that shot, but somehow it landed. Few missed shots from both sides starting this quarter. Just trying to settle into the changes and find their rhythm in attack. Nice bit of 1-2 play between Kransberg. But Karras.
Oh, Maggie Karras stopped for a moment, thinking she might have been worried about the repossession from the tap down and then the brief drop. But look at her run through and the connection.
Just now.
This is a transition the Vixens are wanting.
Very silky smooth. Something we're very used to seeing from the reigning champs. I know, as we mentioned, it is pre-season, but it's always a good indicator, I suppose, in terms of connections. Mundy holding the ball up, calling the troops to come forward. And Austin answers that call.
Great jump up and over it from Jauncey, but Austin is able to capitalise. 49-41. Fever with the centre pass, and Austin, it did come off her knee. She's begging and pleading. There may have been a hand at some point in there from Williams, but looking more like it was a Fever ball until that one. Just a miscommunication. Teague Neild and Kransberg not able to find each other.
And now, different story up the other end. Just beautiful control there from the Vixens, able to manoeuvre their way down the court. I think that's one thing we've said. They're really consistent in their short, sharp passes and trying to find space rather than releasing those long looping passes.
Austin thought about the little waist-to-waist offload and then brings it up. It's 10 the margin. The biggest margin we have seen.
It doesn't feel like it's pushed out to that big of a margin. I think the Fever really in this game, they're just not having the same scoreboard opportunity that the Vixens are having at the moment.
And we know the Fever have had obviously the change down their goal in end from what they've been used to. A good chance for them to consolidate and see what they're doing against last year's premiers with this new combination. And I'm sure they'll be able to get a lot of takeaways from it, but they're going to want to come back here as well.
It's hard to kind of think about. They're missing Janelle Fowler-Nembard, and they're also missing Sunday Ariang. So a couple of key pillars for the Fever out, and there's still so much great depth out on court.
And you can absolutely take that away if you're a Fever fan, a big fan of the green, that there is still so much going on, and these combinations are only going to get stronger and stronger.
Not to mention we haven't seen the introduction of Romelda Aiken-George either. Another, formidable force in that goal shooting circle.
Yeah, it does have the track pants on over on the bench, despite it being reasonably warm in the stadium at the moment, and in Ballarat today, it's certainly been a balmy one.
It has. It's hot for us.
Certainly hot up here, up in commentary, up in the ceilings, up in the rafters, if you will. And now the comeback is occurring for the Fever. 44-52, they're wanting to score again. Glasgow takes a big breath in.
Good connection between Cransburg and Glasgow, really finding each other now and just opening up that space in the attacking third. How about the roll there from Garvin into the back space, and as quick as you like, answers the call of the Fever.
A little head nod, change of direction there. Teague Neald finds herself free at the transverse line. But just wanting someone at home. Thinks about, beautiful offload along the goal line. Glasgow just opens up. Alice couldn't get across to stop it.
Head was looking elsewhere, and all of a sudden, Glasgow just pops up. Jauncey came running through. Unlucky to not steal that one. Just ran out of court space.
She did indeed, and then running out of head movement there on how sharp that change of direction was for Kira Austin. Opening up a beautiful passage there for Walter's delivery, but it's Carbon who finishes off. And now Fever looking in, and Karras is caught on the back. She called the swap had been called as Ellis had come out wide.
Now Vixens with the centre pass. It's going a bit goal for goal at the moment. Walters just out of options, and Garvin having to come out of the circle, drawing the attention of Jauncey with her.
And Jauncey's looked good when she's come out and tacked this line. It shows that her timing's pretty much there on the hunt. Just needs a couple more opportunities. And I tell you what, it'll fall her way. Halfway through this final quarter, and it falls the way of Maloney.
And the crowd liked that one, didn't they? Got right behind the captain in Maloney. The fast feet from Mundy as well.
Catching the eyes down, but a bit too much on it. Flies through the hand of Garvin and the pressure of Jauncey's arms. Just wanting a middle connection. Panic for a brief moment. And Maloney yells go and realises it's a bit too late for her to go. Gets the two-handed safe collection of Alice Teague Neald.
Alice with that passing arm out there, just trying to see if she could get fingertips on it. Comes up with the rebound instead. Vixens, if you couldn't make it, just trickled over the edge. Well, if you can't make or couldn't make it to Ballarat Blitz this weekend, the Vixens are hosting their annual Fan Day, March 1st. What's that, next weekend? So, if you want to get down, it's a free event, family, the whole Vixens gang is going to be there. Grab some new merch, have a fun day out in the city of Melbourne.
Great opportunity for a photo or an autograph, of course, as well.
Exactly. I mean, what a great opportunity. Yep. Kate Maloney, I'm sure she'll be giving out a few autographs next Sunday. And
if she's not, well, we've told her she has to. So, Kate, take that into consideration.
If you wouldn't mind. back onto the action. So if you are here, excellent.
Yeah, if you're here today, great. You might get your opportunity for a signature or photo later as the Glasgow gets called for the push-off. If not, join their fan day and take advantage of celebrating how well they're playing, certainly for the last 3 quarters. And Vixens are looking through as Fever just trying to cut off pressure. There's Jauncey. It's one thing you know that she's just going to keep having a go at it, and she has started finding better timing. Did mention that before. Williams just contests the rebound and a little bit too much of a contact on the arm for it.
And then makes good on that shot, does Sophie Garvin. I'm really liking that combination of Jauncey and Williams working together. It's great to see the experience. Oh, Jauncey almost came up with it there.
It's
thrown back at her.
Great strong bodies in that circle, and just a little bit of when they can get their timing right, how strong that's going to be. Been used to certainly having people fly a little bit more when you've had Ariang there, for instance, who had the unfortunate injury previously. Austin tries ripping it in. So animated in her response of, damn, how did I get away with that?
Yeah, it's always that look to the umpire, isn't it? Like, surely that wasn't me. It couldn't have been me, but no, it was.
A 2-point opportunity here with the penalty. Karras out of play, and it sinks it.
There we
Sloane
go.
Burton.
Is this the momentum they need now? The Fever, an opportunity to sink another one. Oh, but no, we're having a tactical timeout, it looks like, for both sides.
And it will, of course, be the centre pass going back the way of the Fever after that. Not surprised to see just a slight, let's break the momentum potentially with this. What are we going to run now?
It just gives both teams a chance. As we kind of mentioned, it's been right on rhythm both throughout the game 1 and the second game here. Both teams have typically called a timeout around super shot time. So really interesting to see that, again, this has kind of been implemented here.
Now, they don't have too much longer, just under a minute to go in this break. Some clear instructions to go. Vixens are going to want to push out this lead. It is at 7. Very easy to come back with the super shot, especially if we see the confidence of shot that last one from Sloane Burton was.
Just looked to post and just went bang, and it was dead on. And it's great to see that growing confidence as well, just to turn, look, and say, yep, I'm going to command the ball, and this is what I'm going to do. I've really enjoyed that. We saw that with Lily Graham in the third quarter as well. I wonder if she'll get an opportunity.
Well, who knows whether we're going to throw out one of the other goalers for 2-point opportunity, or going to continue to run the same. The Vixens lineup, we have seen a rotation in there. So, going back with Mundy into wing attack, Kate Maloney returns into centre, and Zara Walters flips the wing from attack to defence.
Interesting to see, because clearly, we saw Walters in both those positions throughout this game, and she's been strong as we speak of her. Strong in both roles. I'm interested to see throughout the actual SSN season what position she suits more to.
And how they use her in those roles as well. I think having the versatility of both of those, Mundy showing a little bit at centre in that last period, and of course Maloney being a centre wing defence, I think might be a little bit scary if we put her into wing attack.
Limit the options, you think. Maybe don't go too far too soon.
57-49, 3.5 to go. Vixens with the centre pass, and now the contact call against Fran Williams.
Just a pop over the top there to Maloney, and Garvin rips that out of the air and converts another one for the Navy Blue.
And the way some of these feeds come into Garvin, I think we often don't credit enough how well Garvin's able to elevate to get to those, and the confidence that her and her teammates have in each other for that release. As Vixens get a turnover ball and wanting to score again here. Mundy happy to retreat for a moment.
It's one of those things you just expect Garvin to get up to them. It very similar to Janelle Fowler, you just know that they're going to get it. Grace Nwicky, when we saw before, just to that expectation that they're going to
take it for granted, don't you?
It is, and it's, you know, such an incredible effort for them to be able to position themselves and be so incredibly strong. We just kind of get used to it and think this is the norm.
And speaking of the norm, if Alice Teague-Neal can do that sort of move on the edge of the circle as a norm, that is going to be fantastic. Getting another two-pointer there, so important for the Fever.
And that's becoming her norm, the two-point shot. Maloney now just trying to find an option forward. Both Austin and Mundy leading into the same spot, but that's Brown that comes up with the goods there.
Yeah, might have been helped a little bit along the line.
How about the reach then from Alice? Those long arms coming to fruition there. And the fingertip control from Austin on the other end of that pass, just to reel it in and keep the scoreboard ticking over there for the Vixens. So 59-51, a minute and a half left to play in game 2 of the Ballarat Blitz. So reminding everyone, there is a game tomorrow. There is 2 games tomorrow.
Yeah, there's certainly a great morning and noontime match as Alice creeps in for it, where the fixture will be flipped. And we'll see, as we see, a fantastic shot again from Burton. Adding another 2 to the tally. 53-59, under a minute to, just on a minute to go, I should say.
Mundy just popping out at the right time there. Karras helping out through the mid-court, just waiting for someone to come towards the ball. Vixens just caught up a little bit high in the final minute of the match.
Austin happy to let this run for a little bit as well. Take a moment. She knows she's going to sink the 2.
Just rattles around the ring and drops through.
And
Alice.
Just guiding underneath it was Alice. It was a tough one for Glasgow to get to. Throwing her arm and body back.
Garvin, I was thinking she was going to push herself for the 2 there. Austin forced to run the extra miles there. Be the final shot of the game if Garvin sinks it. Somehow, Kira Austin kept that in.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how. Misses her next 2-pointer. And 2 seconds. Fever release and the siren goes. The crowd gets up and claps as the Vixens take away the game 61-53. There's a lot of takeaways from that one, and I think for the Vixens, after coming out of the blocks a little bit slow, they really found themselves across second, third and fourth quarters. The Fever kept trying for intensity, but maybe ran out of a little bit.
Ran out a little bit of steam, I'd say, and I think the Kira Austin effect was well and truly in full form throughout this match. Just her composure and ability to bring the likes of Lily Graham into the game and allow Graham to work herself into the match and really solidify her standings inside the goal circle was great to see. And I think for the Fever, they had such great patches, but just almost lacked that final few seconds, just that final push.
And we're always going to have a bit of a final push. Now, of course, remember that this weekend is made possible by the support of City of Ballarat and Victorian Government. It's been one day down of it so far. We still, of course, have a second one to come. And now, I tell you what time do you guys need to be on the line tomorrow? It's going to be bright and early, a little bit earlier than today.
11 o'clock kickoff.
11 o'clock kickoff is a perfect time to be on. And that'll be between the Fever and the Swifts. And what a game that should be. And then the Vixens take on the Thunderbirds from 1:15. Make sure you join us again tomorrow. Thanks to Netball Victoria and the Melbourne Vixens. Been a big weekend from Ballarat Blitz.